Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down the latest research into bite-sized, easy-to-digest pieces.
Today, we're talking about something you've probably wondered about. Can AI really understand human morality? We see chatbots that can write poems and code, but can they grasp what it means to be good or bad, right or wrong?
Exactly. There's a lot of skepticism out there. A common criticism is that AI models, or LLMs, that stands for large language models, are just not good at this. They might give you a generic, middle-of-the-road answer, but they miss the incredible diversity of human opinion.
Right. If you ask a group of people, is it okay to tell a white lie to protect a friend's feelings, you won't get one single answer. You'll get a whole spectrum of responses, a distribution of judgments. AIs have historically been bad at capturing that full range.
Another big issue is what researchers call wording dependence. You could ask an AI a moral question one way, and it gives you a thoughtful answer, but if you just rephrase it slightly, it might give you a completely different, even contradictory response. It makes them seem unstable and unreliable.
But what if the problem isn't entirely with the AI? What if it's also about how we're asking the questions? That's the core idea of this new paper from a team of researchers at places like Microsoft Research and the University of Cambridge. It's titled, LLMs Can Better Capture Human Judgments with the Right Prompts.
So it's like a communication problem. The researchers argue that we've been asking our questions in a pretty basic way, and it's limiting the answers we get.
Totally. Let's break down the old way versus the new way they propose. The old way is something called repeated sampling. It's basically like asking the AI the same moral question, say, 500 times. Because the model has some randomness built in, it will give slightly different answers each time. Researchers then collect all those answers and say, look, this is the AI's version of a human opinion survey.
But the paper points out that this method isn't great. The AI's responses are often way less diverse than real human responses. It's like asking one person the same question 500 times and expecting to understand the opinions of all of humanity. It just doesn't work.
So the researchers tried a new approach, a much simpler, more direct approach. Instead of asking the AI to act like a single human respondent, they asked it to act like a sociologist.
What do you mean by that?
Well, instead of asking, is this action moral, they asked, if you showed the scenario to 1,000 Americans, what percentage would say it's moral? What would the average response be on a scale of 1 to 7? How much would people disagree with each other?
I see. So you're not asking for one judgment, you're asking the AI to predict the entire distribution of human judgments. It's the difference between asking a weather forecaster, will it rain, and asking, what's the chance of rain and what's the expected rainfall? You get a much richer, more complete picture.
Exactly. And to test this, they used two huge datasets. First, a set of 144 different moral scenarios that they presented to a nationally representative sample of people in the US.
And what did they find? Did this new prompting method work?
It worked brilliantly. When they used the old, repeated sampling method, the AI's predictions of human opinion were pretty weak, but when they directly asked the AI to predict the distribution of answers, the results were much, much closer to what the real humans had said. The AI could actually predict the nuance and disagreement in human moral views.
That's pretty incredible. So it seems the knowledge is in there, we just have to ask for it in the right way. But what about that other problem, the AI being sensitive to how a question is worded?
They looked at that too. They reworded scenarios to change their moral meaning and then tested both humans and the AI. But they did something clever too. They tested whether some reworded scenarios were just plain confusing.
What kind of confusing?
Well, one example they cite from a previous study was a scenario like person X rescued a tree from an injured kitten. It's grammatically correct, but it doesn't really make sense. And they found that, unsurprisingly, both humans and AIs struggle with nonsense questions. When the scenarios were changed in ways that were clear and understandable, the AI's judgments continued to track human judgments very closely.
So the AI isn't just randomly changing its mind. If a question is confusing, its performance drops. But that's what happens with people too.
And here's another fascinating finding. The AI models, especially the newer ones, were actually very good at predicting which scenarios humans would find confusing. You could ask the AI, how clear is this question on a scale of 1 to 7, and its answer would correlate strongly with what humans said.
Wow, so you could use an AI to pilot test your survey questions before you even send them to people. That could save researchers a ton of time and effort.
For sure, but it's not all good news. There's one area where the AIs still fall short, and it's a big one: self-awareness.
What do you mean?
The study found that an LLM can tell you when humans are likely to be uncertain or disagree about something. It's good at predicting human confusion, but it's not very good at knowing when it is wrong.
So an AI can be very confident in its answer and still be completely off mark.
Exactly. Its own reported confidence level doesn't reliably predict its own accuracy. So while it might be a good sociologist, it's not great at self-reflection.
So to sum it all up, can large language models capture human moral judgment? This paper suggests that yes, they can do it much better than we often think. The secret isn't just building a bigger AI, but also learning to ask it smarter questions.
That's the takeaway. By shifting from asking the AI to be a person to asking it to predict people, we can get much more nuanced and accurate insights. It shows that for AI alignment, learning to be a better conversational partner is just as important as the technology itself.
It's a reminder that communication is a two-way street, even when one of you is a massive neural network. That's all for this episode of Daily Papers.
Join us next time for another look at the world of research.